What's an important lesson you learnt the hard way? 1,000 is not a lot of money to have but is a lot of money to owe. Never ever get close to a low limit high APR card. It will ruin relationships, and make you a pariah to financial cultists. You know the type, to say oh just save money, bootstraps and no more luxury treats. $100 is simultaneously a lot more than I thought it was as a kid, while also being a lot less than I thought it was as a kid. The quote is cliché for a reason. It's true. $20 is an adult dollar. Money doesn't exist until the deposit hits your bank account, and business promises mean nothing until legal documents are signed. I'd like to add that the strength of a legal document is dictated by one's willingness to sue. Bingo. You have to be ready to take someone to court for specific performance and punitive damages. My dad made a deal using a crane manufacturer as an importer on the East Coast for some machinery we were jointly representing. Ended up that we had to sue his ass and keep on him for 2 years before he ended up paying us anything for the work we did on his behalf. Well said. I would only like to add, don't lend money to anyone unless it's on paper and terms of repayment are set and signed before even a penny is exchanged. This will save you from losing a lot of family and friends, but also save you from losing money you may have otherwise lost. If they can't pay you back right on time, you can always give them unlimited time too, but if they ever try to make a run for it with your money, there's evidence otherwise. It's your word versus their word. I know it's inconvenient and tempting not to, because they're literally the people you trust the most in your life, but I learned this lesson several times the hard way and never saw it coming once. Learn when to stop drinking and call it a night. This one takes some unfortunate trial and error. Just wish I'd learned before the error. And if you struggle to do this, go drinking exclusively with people who have it down. Dental care is expensive. Never be lazy with oral hygiene. And dental problems are extremely painful. Can confirm, was headbutted at a pub when I was 16 and had months of dentist appointments to try and keep my teeth in place. Also had to live off milk/milkshakes for 2 to 3 months because my front teeth were too wobbly to bite into anything. Lucky my mum got me dental insurance a few weeks before the assault took place. Lol. Absolutely the type of thing that should be taught in elementary school, over and over. Just because a person with authority tells you to do something, doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. I work at Walmart and I'm CPR trained. They tried telling us that if someone is unconscious or whatever that we can't help them because it's a liability issue with Walmart. I didn't say it, but fuck that. Someone's on the floor. I'm not waiting for a manager who might not know what to do. Walmart would get sued, not me. Plus I think Good Samaritan laws protect me, right? I once had 2 border agents shouting mutually exclusive instructions at me while trying to re-enter the country. Anytime I did what one said, the other would yell and tell me to do the opposite. Where was the border? Don't let love blind your eyes. Red flags are real. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Maya Angelou. My sister's ex was very proud of being an asshole. When you look at someone through rose-colored glasses, all the red flags just look like flags. BoJack Horseman. Never have kids with someone you don't want in your life forever. Also ensure that they also want you in their life forever. To add, contraception is never the other person's responsibility. It is not even 50-50. It is 100%/100%. The 100%/100% point is good for more than just contraception. I'd go so far as to say the whole relationship in general. Everyone should be doing their best for their most important person. My lesson learnt the hard way is, I wasn't. It's possible to make no wrong moves and still lose. That is not a weakness, that is life. Thanks Picard. It's also possible to make no right moves and still win. That is not talent, that is life. Stand up for yourself. If you get in the habit of letting people walk all over you, it'll be extremely difficult to reverse. Even if you're not confident, just fake it till you make it. It was shamed and punished out of me as a child, and it is so hard relearn it now. I kind of feel like I'm just now getting the hang of it, but man, it's been painful. For me it was shamed and punished by narcissistic parents, but I caught on to how fucked up it was at a young age and went kinda crazy overcorrecting. It was around the same time as some of the earlier internet prototypes of Andrew Tate's cult started popping up and people starting referring to desperate to overcompensate for having a tiny dick, or whatever other crippling insecurity, behavior as alpha. Pissed everyone off, told myself they were just betas that can't handle alphas like me. Yeah, I know lol. Eventually realized how fucked up my behavior was and overcorrected again and, like clockwork, started getting walked on again until years of abuse by everyone from family to work colleagues and supervisors and such got me scrambling to try and find some sort of sane gray area that involves standing up for myself against narcissists and other types of control freaks but also trying not to be such a toxic weirdass about everything. I'm tired of playing this revolving door game. It's still so difficult for me. My parents always taught me to stick up for myself, to speak my mind, and never take anyone's shit. It's my own problem. Even when someone's rude to me, I'm still overly polite to them because I don't want them to feel bad. I feel so guilty and it sucks. This is a horrible mentality and I'm working really hard to give it up. Still don't know how or why I've got it. My family is full of confrontational people lol. Not everyone has the same heart as you do. Good, this one barely works anyway. It's broken, you can hear that? You have a good heart. Thank you. Now hand it over, see. Do not spend like there's no tomorrow. Tomorrow will come and it won't be pretty. My grandpa always said money never goes out of style. I have far too many friends who are I could die tomorrow. YOLO. La 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 lottery ticket. When it comes to money, I rented from an older woman who was still working 2 jobs in her late 70s. Man, that was eye-opening. And terrifying. You are not your emotions. You are an awareness who observes them. This is only partially true. You are the awareness that watches them, you are the scheme that makes them to be read in that way, and you are them as you produce them. It does not mean that you are obliged to act according to them. I usually don't comment a lot but this sounds profound. Could you please elaborate or provide more /similar lines of thought /quotes? Let's say you're afraid. You don't have to act afraid. You can observe the fear, take time to understand where it is coming from, and take logical action based on that observation. You don't have to be a slave to your fear, anger, whatever emotion. Edit. If you're about to reply with the fear is the mind killer line from Dune, someone else got there first. Several times. Your family doesn't always have your best interest at heart. Sometimes, family are just a bunch of bad PPL who are biologically related to you. I wouldn't even call that family, just blood relatives. Sometimes, a found family is worth far more than a blood relation. Yep. Saddest lesson of my life. Turns out my cousins, who I loved more than anything and shared tons of family memories with, didn't give a shit about me at all. They boycotted my wedding and I found out they'd been saying awful things about me behind my back. It's been years and it still stings like hell. I'm doing better now, but damn, this was a tough lesson to learn. Using substances to cope is actually the opposite of coping and the only thing you can be sure of is the eventuality of everything blowing up in your face. 139 days sober. 10,000 and some odd days here. FYI after a while, it seems like a memory of someone else's life. 298 days in 3 different states since I left my addiction behind. It gets easier every single day. My entire life came crashing down in a viciously quick fashion. 298 days ago and I'm the happiest I've been in a decade. Congratulations on 139 days. I love that for you. 813 days here. Every day trends easier, hard days still happen. Look at the hard days and compare how you would have reacted to how you react now. Even the bad shit is better when you're sober. Just need to readjust to the idea that you don't need to be happy and entertained 100% of the time, and that you are strong enough to sit along with your thoughts and discomforts without numbing them out. Not everyone is a good person. Some people actually want to see you fail. Stop oversharing. These nasty people will use it against you. My brain still can't comprehend someone being a dick for no reason. All it takes is for someone to decide they don't like you. It can be for any vapid reason. Maybe they simply don't like the way you look. My wife is currently helping me with this. I realize now that I used it as a shortcut to establish relationships. Wear a helmet. It's an easy safety precaution you can take when rollerblading, biking, skateboarding, scootering etc. and it can literally save your life. Went all through the 90s thinking helmets were lame. Fell while rollerblading in my 30s and got a subdural hematoma. I wasn't going fast but the momentum from how I fell just slammed my head into concrete. Helmets save lives. Also use the seatbelt. How the fuck am I meant to rollerblade with a seatbelt? Going to shamelessly piggyback on your comment for my PSA about eye protection. You only have 2 eyes and many injuries are not repairable. I have completely shit vision in one eye because of an injury and I'm constantly paranoid about something happening to the good eye. Wear safety glasses folk, it's important. If something feels wrong, it likely is. Closely related to if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Or someone. Just trust your guts and be aware of red flags. Sometimes it helps to say let me think about this for a few days and discuss it with someone else. On the note of let me think about this for a few days, if someone starts pressuring you to do something urgently, it's generally not in your best interest, and you should indeed step away from the situation and think about it. Sometimes bad things happen to good people. Shit happens and it doesn't really need to have a reason. Sometimes you will be the bad guy, and sometimes you will be the good guy. It happens. I always expected that bad things could happen to me, but things happening that made others see me in a bad light against my intentions is something that really caught me off guard. I always try to be good, so when I for some reason is seen as bad, that is a very off-putting feeling. Suddenly I am a minor negative side character in someone else's story. You just gotta remember that you meant well, everyone makes mistakes, and it could be a cultural difference or misunderstanding. They probably don't see it or remember it as bad as it feels for yourself. Going one step further and applying this to others as well. 95% of the time people also mean well when they unintentionally hurt you, or at the very least causing you harm was an unintentional consequence of their actions. We make mistakes. Give yourself grace, but lend it to others too. A falling knife has no handle. A professional kitchen-sized saran wrap box also has no handle. Caught one of those the wrong way and those serrated edges did some damage. Didn't need stitches, but it hurt like a bitch and took forever to heal. Edit. Anodin. This was the first thing that was drilled into me when I started working at the butcher. If a knife falls, you get out of the way and let it fall. Yeah, luckily when it happened to me I just sliced my thumb when trying to catch it, but I have read reports of worse injuries happening. The same rule applies to guns too. Not everyone deserves your niceness. Additionally, not everyone deserves your meanness just because you're pissed off that one person or group of people disappointed you. Being the smartest person in the room isn't always a good thing. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. That's a nice thought. Also, never assume you're the smartest person in the room, because odds are, you aren't. True love, love that isn't confusing, judgmental, suffocating, or comes with a price isn't easy to find, so if you catch it, hold on to it. Judgmental, watch out for that. That's why you love yourself first. So that you can love someone else for who they are and not what they are. The pull-out method works until it doesn't. People who use this method have a name. Parents. I think best way I heard this put was, the pull-out method is the #1 form of contraception chosen by parents. Can confirm it worked for me for 2 years, then it didn't one day. Making jokes about my trauma makes my trauma easier for me to deal with. Making jokes about the trauma of others is fucked up and not my place. I make fun of my dog for being adopted. Does that count? Stephen First had a quote, something like, I always made the fat joke first, so nobody else could, and hurt me with it. You call yourself Fat Amy? Yeah. So twig bitches like you don't do it behind my back. Don't marry someone with mental illness that refuses treatment. Or don't marry someone who doesn't let you seek treatment for your mental illness. My last boyfriend knew I had mental health issues but opposed me taking meds. I was an explosive nutcase. I ended kicking him out, found a new love, who's now my husband, and got help. I'm a much calmer person now. Second part of your sentence is important. We are all flawed and a lot of us meet criteria for at least one diagnosis in the DSM. But there's a difference between actively working on it and just saying I'm crazy because I'm a Scorpio. Or whatever nonsense people say for justifying their maladaptive behavior. My ex was a non-compliant diabetic. Checked her blood sugar maybe once a month because, I know my body, I'm fine. You can't use logical arguments to change the minds of those who don't value logic. Totally true. I've heard this said as, you can't reason someone out of a position they didn't reason themselves into. There's a quote I once read that goes like, if someone doesn't believe in evidence, what evidence can you provide to show them why they should believe in evidence? And I think this fits perfectly here. Or ask them, what evidence would change your mind? If they struggle to answer, or give an unreasonable answer, there really is no point in discussing it. Just a waste of everyone's time. Always take a chance to tell someone you love them. To give them a hug. Never end a conversation on a harsh word. And hashtag X200B. Both for the same reason. You never know if you will get to see that person alive again. I learned both those lessons from each of my parents. One night at a rock and roll bar we were drinking with a bunch of friends. One of them didn't want to drink more and we teased him for being a chicken. He left early, alone. The last thing I said to him was fuck off. Admittedly, he was being kind of annoying that night, but in retrospect, he had to be going through something and we weren't there for him. He was assaulted on his way home, and he was stabbed in the heart to steal his cell phone. It still torments me to this day. Holy shit, that's heavy. I'm sorry. The problem was the alcohol. 6 years sober. Congrats, I'm sober too. You're not alone. High five, friend. I don't need validation from others. No you don't, but you're getting it from me anyway, damn it. That's right, teach him a lesson. Loyalty to a company does not pay. The day after you die the company will be advertising your job. Loyalty to a company should be contingent on pay and conditions. Golden handcuffs loyalty is fine. Save money, don't gamble. The house always wins. Statistically, the change machine pays off better than the slot machine. You say that, but the change machine I use is right next to the pinball machine. Nobody is coming to save you. Get off the ground. I'm curious about the context for this one. This is the scariest advice of all. And perhaps the truest. I cut and seeded a ton of jalapenos because my mom stuffs them with cream cheese and wraps them in bacon. Yum. So I know you never touch your eyes afterwards, so my mom was using the sink, so I went to the bathroom and my brain was like, you need to pee, so I peed and washed my hands. Maybe 10 minutes later it felt like the skin of my penis was on fire. I stood in the bathroom with water and even used milk, lol. Good times. I did this after chopping about 40 habaneros for my sister. She told me to wear gloves and I'm stupid, so I didn't. I washed my hands with soap and then went to the bathroom. Instant burning. I thought I got something on me, so I tried wiping it off / feeling for anything while visually inspecting before it clicked in my mind. It hurt for about 30 minutes. I knew a guy who took his girlfriend out and got some super spicy wings. They then proceeded to have spicy time in the car. She broke up with him because of it. Just because you're kind doesn't mean other people will also be kind to you. Being an asshole though nearly guarantees that others will not be nice to you. I'd also add, no matter what you do, there will always be some people who take a dislike to you, and it can be for the stupidest reasons. Not everyone will like you, and that's totally fine. This is the lesson I'm teaching my kids. Both want to be friends with everyone, and when it's not always reciprocated, it breaks their hearts when some little shit is mean to them for no apparent reason. Don't answer the cops, get a lawyer. Yep. Admit nothing, ever. This is why they ask you, do you know why I pulled you over? You must have had a reason to you, why don't you tell me? Tell the police nothing and the paramedics everything. There's always other jobs out there. Don't stay in a shitty one just cause you think no one else would hire you. The same goes for relationships. Don't get involved with a married person. Thought it was love and we would get married. Can now look back and see I was being used. Watched someone close to me go through this. From moment one, we were all like, if he wanted to leave his wife for you, he would leave her. And until he's left her for real, stay away. She didn't want to hear it. It was so painful watching her spout all the cliches. He's trying to leave but it's complicated. He's never done this before. What we have is special and the rest of you just don't understand. His wife is an evil bitch who doesn't deserve him and who for some reason blames me for all of this and not herself, etc, etc, etc. And in the end, surprise surprise, he didn't leave his wife. My friend ended up heartbroken, and 4 families were severely messed up as a result. 4 families? Basically, if somebody is cheating on somebody else with you, then expect them to also cheat on you if you pursue anything serious. I've never intentionally slept with anybody in a relationship, but have had 2 women tell me they have boyfriends after we hooked up. I noped out on seeing them further. I don't want that drama or to be a part of a jealousy-fueled murder-suicide. Thanks. When people show you their true colors, believe them. A friend of mine betrayed me and I forgave, believing it was not on purpose. Then he did something worse and I learned my lesson. It's very easy to apologize, but very hard to stop being shit. Life is unfair. Some people get it all and some get none. Even though weed is legal, work can still fire you for it. Deleted. Most people have little to zero knowledge about the law. Wrongful termination in most cases only applies to retaliatory firings or being fired for being a protected class. Don't ignore red flags. Don't be afraid to get help for dealing with an abusive partner. Don't be afraid to walk away. Yes. I would add, don't live a life that depends on someone else. Going it alone is scary, but actually less scary than living with uncertainty about your safety. You can slowly build yourself something safe and reliable, and that feels great. Also, being afraid to tell people the reality of what you are going through is a baseless fear. 99% of the people I have opened up to about my situation have been so completely supportive and non-judgmental. They do not think I was stupid for staying as long as I did. They were understanding.